Namaste. Welcome to the second session of Human Mind in YajurVeda. This is a series of 3 sessions, a short course on human mind in YajurVeda by Acharya Harishchandraji. So basically we are discussing the 6 mantras which end with Tanme Manaha Shiva Sankalpamastu. As usual, we begin our session with devoting first 15 minutes to the meditation. So it's my pleasure to lead this session. So we'll be following Patanjali's prescription for meditation. Patanjali prescribes 3 steps for doing the meditation leading up to Ishvara Upasana. Step 1 is disciplining our body. So I am sitting on floor. You can see I am sitting. I think this is Sukhasan, cross-legged on the floor, and my hands are on my knees. So sit comfortably. Make sure your back, spine is straight. Your back, neck, and head are in one straight line. They are straight but not stiff. If you cannot sit on the floor, please sit on a chair, but make sure your back is straight. The step 2 is controlling or disciplining our breathing. So we'll be doing 3 cycles of abdominal breathing. Let's begin. So breathe out. Hold it out. Breathe in. Hold it within. Breathe out. Hold it out. Breathe in. Hold it within. Last cycle. Breathe out. Hold it out. Breathe in. Hold it within. Now let your body take back its normal breathing rhythm. Relax. Watch your breathing. Step 3 is disciplining our mind. So we'll be using Gayatri Mantra to discipline our mind. We'll recite Gayatri Mantra 3 times. First in a louder sound, then in the whispering sound, and by the 3rd time, we'll recite it in our mind only. So after that, we will be in the state of meditation, disconnected from the outer world. Our mind is blank, and that is when we can connect to the infinite consciousness or Ishwar, and experience is Anand. So that is what we are striving for in meditation. And if during this process your mind wanders, recite Om inside your mind and try to push away any thought waves hitting you. If it does not work, take a deep breath out and recite Om. and throw away the wave train which has entered your mind. And bring it back to focus in between your eyebrows, also called the third eye. We'll sit in this position until the alarm rings. So let's start with the louder sound of Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodaya. Om Bhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodaya. Now both of your palms together and put them on your eyes and slowly open your eyes. Thank you. Now let's listen the rest of the pravachan from Acharya Harish Chandraji. Thank you.
Welcome to the session number 2 on human mind in YajurVeda. We will have total 3 sessions, one more next week at the same time. Let me bring my slides and then we get started. Yeah, here it begins. Title is Human Mind in YajurVeda, 34th chapter, first 6 mantras we are discussing. Last week we have covered the first 2, 1 and 2. And today we will look at the mantras number 3 and 4. The subtitle I have borrowed is the Sanskrit term Tanme Manah Sankalpamastu. This appears as a common ending in all the 6 mantras. It means this tan is actually, the actual word is pronoun word tat, but due to the Sandhi rule, when it comes in conjunction with becomes tan. So, if you naturally, it's a phonetic language. So, as you speak, this kind of changes will automatically be taking place. And that's why the rules exist. It's not that the rule is there and we are following the rule. Naturally, the sound goes through these variations. And that's what the rule is all about. It's a very natural language. So the word is tat is for that, which is not quite stated in English translation. That mind, which has been described in the foregoing, may is for mind, mana is mind, overall mind. It's not to be confused with a component of mind that I will show today as manas. Manas is one component, one unit of mind in the outer layer, but the mind as a whole, which has 3 layers, namely buddhi, ahankar, and manas. All these 3 put together is called as mana. So depending on the context. Here the context is the entire black box of mind, which is my closest instrument. Shiv is an adjective for sankalp. Sankalp is my resolves, what I decide to do after due consideration. And Shiv is what is benevolent, what is good for all concerned, including me. So this is an adjective, but it is also used as noun also. So this is also one name for that infinite consciousness, because sometimes we say he is Shiv. As an adjective we are saying he is Shiv, meaning he is benevolent, a kind person. But suppose his name is Shiv, then also we will say he is Shiv. So the word adjective becomes a word, a name also, a noun word. So that is very much seen in the world. So there is nothing to be surprised about. But here it is an adjective for sankalp. This is sankalpam astu. Astu is may it happen so. So the overall translation for this subtitle is may my mind bear positive results. Of course, exactly word to word, I don't want to translate, but I try to carry its meaning as best as possible. So last week I had recited these mantras also, and then we went to first and second mantras. So just as a quick review, the first mantra was Yajagyato Dura Mudayati Devam Tadusuptasya Tathayvahati Durangamam Jyotisham Jyoti Ekam Tanme Manah Shiva Sankalpam Astu. I gave it a title as if my mind connects me to the world. And if we look back our last 24 hours, we went through typical states of mind. So I am the owner of my mind, that consciousness, we call it usually as tiny consciousness, TC, that is a point like singularity, and that owns the instruments of body and mind. Body is, of course, the gross visible body, but mind is a very tiny instrument, and that's what the discussion is all about. So that mind connects me to the world through the body domain, and that gives rise to different states of mind. So when I wake up in the morning, I am alert, then I am in wakeful state, that is called a jagyat. And then as I go to sleep, that is supta. So I am awake, I am in sleep because my mind is participating or functioning in a particular manner. Namely, when I am awake, my mind borrows my consciousness, which I lend it to my mind because I want to use my mind, and then it passes on in a serial connectivity in series, passes it on to that consciousness to my body also. So, bodily and mind wise, I am fully alert and conscious. That is described as Jagat, wakeful state of mind. And when I am in sleep, then mind has borrowed the consciousness but doesn't pass it on to my body. So, that is one possibility. Now, sleep also has two possibilities. I may be dreaming or I may be in deep, dreamless sleep. So, when I am dreaming, my mind is very consciously functioning. So, my mind has borrowed the consciousness from me and has not passed on to the body, but is functioning in its within its domain. And when I am in deep, dreamless sleep, then my mind also has not picked up my consciousness and it is in deep slumber. So sleep has two possibilities. So when I am dreaming, that is called as swapna avastha, dream state. And when I am in deep, dreamless sleep, then I am in, so to say, sushupti, deep sleep. So here I was trying to explain the allegorical meanings of Ved mantras, that's their beauty, that the term supt is describing both dream state as well as sushupti, the deep, dreamless sleep as well. So a quick review was when I am alert, when I am in wakeful state, duram, far away, iti, my mind moves around very fast, very swiftly, at the speed of light or maybe even beyond that, I have no idea. Daivam, it has a very extraordinary powers. So it connects me to the world, external world. Whatever is happening there, I get to know it, and then I am able to influence the world around me also by way of action. So incoming is knowledge, outgoing is action, where the instruments of body and mind are participating. But discussion is more about mind. Then it says tad u, that mind definitely goes to sleep also. And how does it go? Tathayavati, eti is it goes, it moves in that with a particular pace. Now this tathav is similarly. Similarly to what? Similarly to the Jagrat Avastha, if we say, if we combine this tathav with the wakeful state, then it is describing the dream state. So in dreams also, when we are dreaming, it almost looks like as if it is all real world. Though it is not real, but it looks like. So this tathav is as if the mind is functioning as if I am in the wakeful state. That will become description of the dream state, swapnavastha. And if this tathav is taken with the word supta, as if I am in sleep, when the owner is in sleep and my personal secretary mind also is in sleep, if that is the description, then I am in deep dreamless sleep. So that will be the description of Sushupti. So that's the magic of the Vedic terminology and composition of these words. It's really out of the world mantras. So you have seen it that this small part, 1/4 of this mantra, Tadu Suptasya Tathayavati, is describing both dream state as well as deep sleep state. Duangamam Jyotisham Jyoti Ekam. Now this has certain inlet ports and certain outlet ports. We are talking about mind and its ability when I am awake, it picks up knowledge from my five senses. So those five sensory organs have very extraordinary powers. They are described as Jyoti Sham. And this is also, Jyoti is a source of light. So any piece of knowledge, once I get to know it, once I become aware of it, I get enlightened. So when I get enlightened, as if in the inner part of my mind, some sort of light has been, is throwing its light. That is my mind. That's ability, its ability to enlighten me is called its as a jyoti, which is ekam, one mind. There is only one mind. But there are multiple senses. They also have extraordinary powers to enlighten me. So that is what is described here. My five senses are with extraordinary powers of enlightening me, but they don't come to me direct. They come to me via mind, and that also is a unit, one unit of mind, and that also has the extraordinary power to enlighten me. Then, having described all these attributes of mind, the ending is same, which I have already discussed, that my mind may it have positive attitudes, positive results. Then we discussed as we were discussing it, I think I made some remarks. Let me quick go through it because these, as we have seen in this first mantra, Yat and Tat, that is coming as a pair. So that is a common feature in all the six mantras. So I tried to explain last week. Yat and Tat, these are correlative pronouns. You can translate them as whatever has these attributes, that mind of mine has may it have positive results. So they will always come as a pair in all the 6 months. In Sanskrit, there are 8 cases listed here as nominative, accusative, instrumental, dative, ablative, genitive, locative, vocative. Usually, from my natural uh, training, I speak more in terms of the Sanskrit terms. This is Pratma, Dvitiya, Titiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Shashti, Saptami, and Sambodhanam. This is missing for a pronoun because this is not relevant. For a noun, all these 8 cases are functioning. In these sets of mantras, in mantra number 1, 3, and 6, Yat and Tat, like we have seen earlier in the first mantra, it comes as nominative. And it will come as nominative in mantra number 2, 3, and 6, not as a start, but somewhere in between. Then in mantra number 2 and 4, 2 we will be discussing slightly later, it comes as yen. Yen karmanya paso. In mantra number 2 we discussed last week, yes. Yen karmanya paso. Today we will discuss the mantra number 4, yenedam bhutam bhunam. So yen is the titiya, the instrumental. And as yen it comes also not as only at the start, but it will come in between also. Then ablative, the panchami, is never coming, but it is coming and the in between in the third mantra today. As locative, the Saptami case, it will come next week in mantra number 5 at the start, Yasmin Chittam Sarvamotam, and then in between also twice again. So Yat and Tat we have discussed last time. And last week I gave you this diagram of Sankhya by Maharishi Kapil. This describes how we function, how our day-to-day life goes on. So this is me, my tiny consciousness, and this is the mind we are talking about. Here, let me go to the webinar room, so to say, because all this is based on what's happening. Yes. So it is based on a metaphor which I borrow from Upanishad that I am enveloped in my mind domain as a thumb in the fist. So this is a wonderful metaphor to describe how we function, in particular with my mind. So my thumb represents me, my tiny consciousness, that is enveloped by the palm. That whole thing is my mind. This is how I entered into my father's body. This is very important to emphasize. Otherwise, it is likely that you get confused as if my mind is my brain. Since we enter into our father's body first, nobody can see us. Maybe my father was breathing or eating or drinking something. I just entered into his body, then went into his bloodstream and vital fluid, etc. Then I was transported into my mother's body. So all this was happening in a very tiny envelope, which is subatomic particles. So this has to be appreciated. And this my mind. And today we will, in the mantra number 3 and 4, my mind will be referred to as Amrit, undying, immortal. So this is very important to understand that my mind is not my brain. It is a very tiny sheath, envelope that covers me, my tiny consciousness, which is a non-physical point-like singularity. So we are talking about very, very tiny domains where we are not familiar with those scales, much smaller than nanoscales. So I have no idea what scales my mind will be of, but they are very miniaturized system domain we are talking about. So this is me. If I open my palm, now this is what I am watching always. This is the inner layer of mind. This is named as buddhi. but it also has a name Chitta. Now, why there are two names, I don't want to go into those details at this point, but you might as well be familiar with it. So, this is what I am watching always. And today's Mantra number 3 is talking about this, that the knowledge coming from five senses are brought up to my here, and here I do some thinking. I conclude that this is a chair, this is a desk, this is a laptop, and all that. All that is happening here. And then I also think and decide what all to do, and even some wonderful scheme, theoretical philosophy, so on and so forth. That will be covered today in mantra number 4. So, today's description on mantra number 3 and 4 is all that is happening at the level of buddhi. But while I am showing you this diagram, my thumb and the palm, let's talk about this is the inner layer, what is buddhi. The middle layer is called ahankar, and that is my memory, my storage device where I store everything. If I have seen something, I remember it for a while. But it is not just this typical information, all my ideas, all my past, even many things I am carrying from my past life. That is also stored in my ahankar. Carried from my past life is called sanskar. There is not that much of time, but just to give you an idea, sanskar is a general term which is anything that is the content in my ahankar. Ahankar is a word people get confused. They think it is ego and all that. That is not the case. Ahankar is a compound word, aham plus kar, just like kumbhakar. Kumbhakar is a person who makes earthen pots. In Hindi, we call him kumhar. Kumbhakar, kumbham karoti iti kumbhakara. This is in Sanskrit compound word made out of a noun and verb. So verb is karoti and kumbh is a earthen vessel, that is a noun. So one who makes is called kumbhakar. Similarly, ahankar is a device, my storage device, which creates my aham. My aham is my personality, and my personality is all that is content, all the contents in my mind forms my personality. That is why that storage device is called as ahankar. Don't get confused. Otherwise, out of 100, almost 95, 98 books will translate ahankar as ego. Don't go after those kind of ideas. Is a middle layer of my mind, which is storage device where all my sanskars are stored. Now, the word sanskar is a general term. Only there are three kinds of impressions in my mind. They go through three kinds of functions. My tiny consciousness has three extraordinary powers. What are they? I have the ability to know, ability to experience, bhog, and ability to act, karma. So, jnana, karma, and bhog are three extraordinary powers of me, my consciousness, this thumb. But I am able to do it only when I have the instruments of body and mind. But once I have gone through this, once I know something, I want to store that knowledge. That is called smriti, past memory. That smriti is what? It is impression of past knowledge. Listen to me carefully, please. Impression of past knowledge is called smriti. Impression of past bhog, experience, is called as vasana. Impression of past action is called as sanskar. Now, all the three kinds of impressions are stored in memory. And all the three kinds of impressions, the general term is sanskar. Is it not? So you have to understand it carefully. Sanskar is a general term that includes impressions of past knowledge, impressions of past bhog, experience, impressions of past action, sanskar. So sanskar is a general term for sanskar plus vasana plus smriti all put together. Is it not? So these things have to be borne in mind because most of the books are talking wrongly. Nowadays, it's very difficult to get authentic, correct knowledge. That is why, whenever I get an opportunity, I go out of my way to explain things in a correct, accurate manner. So, what was I saying? This is me enveloped by my mind. Inner layer is buddhi, middle layer is ahankar, outer layer is called as manas, which is the linking device to my outer domain is body. So my mind, my manas connects me to the body. Now this manas has five inlet ports, that is organs for knowledge, five sensory organs. And there are five outlet ports so that I can activate my motor organs, hands, feet, speech, organs for excretion, etc. Isn't it? So that's why I was talking about this inner layer of buddhi, middle layer of ahankar, outer layer of manas. All this put together is called as mind. Okay. And when we say tanme mana shiv, that word mana is for all the entire domain of mind. Let me go back to that slide. Yeah. So now you will get it. These three boxes put together are mind. In mantra number one, it was described when this is fully alert, then this whole mind has borrowed the consciousness and has passed on to the outer domain. That is my wakeful state. When it just keeps it to itself and is borrows things from past memory and displays to me as dreams, that was swapnavastha. When it decides, when it somehow does not borrow at all, this also becomes unconscious, then I am in deep, dreamless sleep, Shushupti. So, mantra number one was that description. Mantra number two was describing that, let me show you here, that we discussed last week. Yen karmani, yen is instrumental, now titiya, jiske dwara. Karmani, all kinds of karma, कृण्वंती किए जाते हैं. It's a passive voice. So, by virtue of that mind, all karmas, all actions are conducted by whom? By some great people who are manishi, who have good control of their mind. If you want to gain good skill, engineering skill, artistic skill, musical skills, you have to have own your mind. You have to become owner of your mind. Is it not? So only a manishi can good a good quality karma. And that requires apasa. What Maharishi Dayananda has translated this word as karma nishtha, that you want to acquire the skill and so much dedicated towards the karma, then you are an apasa. And then qualitatively, what kind of karma? Yajna karma. Yajna karma is any effort, action that is good for well-being of others. Like that Shiva, who is Shiva, infinite consciousness, all his karma are for the good of others. So, human mind, that's why I have titled this course as Human Mind, not an animal's mind. An animal's mind cannot do yajna karma. He can do typical actions, activities, not quite karma. He does mostly activities, which may sound like action, but they are not quite action which was selected out of willful discretion, isn't it? That's what a human being does. So human being can do a bad karma also, criminal action also. But in the Ved mantra, the discussion is loftier karma, positive direction. So that is called as yajna karma. And what is this? This is in Saptami. This also is in Saptami. That was locative. So, that is, I'm just giving you guidance. I am not expert in this language, but with this small guidance, I can make some sense out of all this. So, these things are very helpful. If you are good in any Indian language, and if you pick up some these simple concepts, you can also make some sense out of these Ved mantras. Because this and this, these two terms are in Saptami, they go together. So Yajyakam is what? Which is with Ath Eshu. With is for Vidya Jan. Ath is at the start of. So which is well thought out action. So if you want to do a Yajyakam, you have to plan it very well. And with due thinking and consideration. So Ath is prefacing it. Prefacing the Yajyakam with Vidya. So an intelligently devised action is a yajika. And then if this is how you function, this will get so motivated, so automated, like you will become a dhiya person. You will not only be apas and manishana. Now this is a nominative, so this goes with dhiya. So dhiya is a person in whose ahankar, that middle layer, he has so many impressions of yajna that he does it in its almost automated manner. So I gave an instance of a one gentleman who himself was affected by flood, but very next moment he starts working for others. Because he is a dhi person, he has been volunteering and doing service kind of oriented karma habitually for so much that he is in this class of person. Yad apurvam. This is an action. So action is coming from this part, outer mind. Outer mind is activating the motor organs. So description is about action, and this gets initiated here. I don't have that much time to tell you that karma gets initiated here and not here. Here it is, if it is a yajna karma conscious, first time you are doing it, but when it has become impatience, then karma is something it can go automated. Like I gave an example, you are walking for a morning walk, your feet are moving, but you are talking to somebody on phone. When you are talking to somebody on phone, that is happening at your buddhi level. Inner layer is functioning consciously. But your feet are moving. How are your feet moving? Because this is non-stop working. And then this part of mind, ahankar plus manas, they have been delegated to walk. But when you made walked your first step, that was consciously, you decided consciously, then this buddhi gave a command to ahankar that yes, I want to walk. But now as your feet are moving, you are now engaged in discussion with somebody. Now who is walking? That time this ahankar is taking care of your operation of walking. So these are very detailed. Human mind is so complex. And of course, in 3 sessions, I cannot discuss all those details. But beauty is in these 6 mantras, in 12 lines, it's a very fantastic description of human psychology at its climax. So in mantra number 2, we are discussing, as I have said, these 6 mantras are looking at the mind from outer domain to the inner world. So it's a inward journey. So the first mantra, the wakeful state and all this was covering something like here. Now, the second mantra was describing how the outer mind takes care of my current functions. But if you really want to come up with a new project, you have to, with a Theshu, that with a Theshu is here. You have to think hard and then decide. And once you are in the automated mode, this does it. And that's what makes your aham. That gentleman is a very kind person because he has positive sanskar in his mind, is it not? So this is how function, and why we are learning all these powers, that we don't want to become a slave of our mind. We want to be a guide of our mind and transform our mind to a much better category. These are the powers you will see. That's why we do meditation also, because that can practically transform our mind. So going back to the second mantra, those the people who are manishi, who are so much dedicated to their karma, their apas, they perform all kinds of karma after well thought out design, which is making it as a loftiest yajna karma. You see, all these concepts in few words, you can talk for many hours, but all these are there in just few words in the Vedas. That's its beauty. Furthermore, yad apurvam, that concept was hidden there. When you are walking at a stretch, apurvam, nothing before that. Now you are not involved. Your mind takes it as if there is nothing before that. Is it not? Apurva, purva is before. And apurvam also has another beautiful meaning. It is extraordinary. It is outstanding. There is nothing like this. So that yat. So now it is in nominative. In the beginning it was in the instrumental. Titya, now it is in the prathama. Yad apurvam. That mind is apurva, outstanding. There is nothing like that. Yakshamantaha. It's slightly inward and it is presiding entity. As I described again and again, this is taking care of your action part. Mantra number 2 is about action. Now this is your presiding entity. Yakshamanta, Prajana. All these powers are given to human beings. This is not for animals and birds. That is Praja. So this is Prajanam. Shashti Bahuvachan it is. So it is Shashti is what? Genitive and in plural. So it is for those kind of human beings, and all human beings can bring themselves this category of Praja. Ja is for generation, Janma. All those who are born are Ja. Praja is Prakishthate, Prakashen, who are very enlightened, who are capable of going to their climax, who can harness the power of their instruments. Point. That person is called Praja, a human being. So this was what we have already discussed. Again, let me go slightly on fast track. Here, I will devote one slide to the concept of mind and then discuss two months. So today's new slide is this one, which is my consciousness. This is coming from an Upanishad. My consciousness is enveloped by 5 layers. Confused with the 3 layers of mind. The layers, or I will say now, not use the word layers, I will use the word sheets. So don't get confused with 3 layers there. So 3 layers were 3 units of mind, independently looking at a human being who is enveloped with 5 sheets. Again, the journey is from outer domain. Now the first is Annamaya Kosh, this gross body layer. There is no denial about that. The second layer is called Pranamaya Kosh. This has all the non-voluntary vital forces like our nervous system, cardiac system, respiratory system, digestive system, and renal system. They have 5 words: Pran, Apan, Vyan, Saman, and Udan, but the whole family is also called as Pran. Just like Sanskar can mean Sanskar, Vasana, and Smriti, but Sanskar also includes all the 3 of them. Similarly, Pran may include all 5 of them. That is the story in this case. Then this is Manomaya course. Now this is with Manas and Ahankar participate. Manas itself cannot work without Ahankar. So Ahankar is always participating. So here this Manomaya course is described as activating my action, which we have discussed mantra number 2. So mantra number 1 had described the state of body who is active, inactive. Mantra number 2 had described my ability to perform action, which as I have showed in your schematic diagram, when Ahankar and Manas is participating, which I may call sometimes refer to as outer mind. And then today we are going to look at mantra number 3 and 4, and this layer is called sheath. Sorry, this sheath is called as Vijnan, my course, intellect sheath. Sorry, in English translation I have used the word layer here, but I will change it to sheath sometime because I think you know it. Because I use the word layer for 3 units of mind: buddhi, ahankar, and manas. Okay, independently we are looking at these 5 sheets. The Sanskrit term was Annamaya Kosh, gross body sheath, Pranamaya Kosh, pranic sheath, Manomaya Kosh, mental sheath, Vijnanmaya Kosh, intellect sheath. And then there is unusual sheath that is called Anandamaya Kosh. And all this is covering me. But the 6th one is slightly unusual. It penetrates within me. Okay, just for sake of it, cannot go into all these details in limited time. But here we want to understand this pranamaya kosha, this pranic sheath, which it is shown schematically here, but actually it is functioning everywhere. Because as I have said, cardiac system is working, respiratory system is working. So these forces are working everywhere non-stop. Even when I am in deep sleep, when none of these sheets are working consciously, but this is working everywhere. And this is a vital nature. When it stops, I will collapse immediately. So that is what makes difference between life, birth and death, life and death, so to say. So this is, so I am trying to show you through this diagram how these 6 mantras are devised. So mantra number 1 we have discussed, mantra number 2 we have discussed. Today mantra number 3 and 4 will be discussing what is happening at this sheath on this inner side where I am using it. For me, that is my desktop, so to say. The like what it was my palm. My palm is my desktop, and that's where I function. My whole world is there. So that's what we will be discussing, mantra number 3 and 4. And next week we will talk mantra number 5. That will again be part of this. And mantra number 6, which is exclusive. So mantra number 5 and 6 is very exclusive to Vedic psychology. What we have discussed, mantra number 1, 2, and today 3 and 4, modern psychology will accept it in certain components of it. They may not be concerned with yajna and all that, but they will be discussing the action, knowledge, and all that. So that's why I've used the red color. Mantra number 1, 2, 3, and 4 are in the overlapping zone with the modern psychology, but mantra number 5 and 6 is exclusive to Vedic psychology. Okay, we are ready after this longish introduction. This is mantra number 1. See now, mind is in the function of bringing real time knowledge. Real time, my eyes are open and I can see so many things. I can hear so many sounds and so many other five senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. All those five signals, if I were to show you this diagram, these five ports are there. They can send in the signal here, but as I have said, this is a linking device. It picks up one signal at a time. Though it is scanning all the five inlet ports in rapid succession with the speed of light, but at a given point, it picks up data from one signal. So five channels are there: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. One at a time, it comes here, it transports the data to Ankar, and this does it by its very routine. Whatever data has come, it makes a copy of that. For my future reference, that will be Smriti Sanskar. It will retain it for time. If you never use it, then it will fade away, but it will very faithfully retain it for some time. Then it projects it to here. This is like kind of a screen I am watching, and if you just watch, if you just call it as a screen, it is called a chitra. And if you do thinking and conclude something, sat asat vivekvati buddhi. Is this that or this? Is it a chair or is it a desk? Now, when you conclude, then you borrow some past images of chairs and desks from Ahankar, bring it in quick. All this is happening at a very fantastic speeds. And then you say, the current object that I am seeing has four legs, one back, two arms, and it is a chair and is not a desk. Of course, in real life, you conclude within a moment, but all this is happening at a very fast. And when you conclude, then the same instrument is called as buddhi. When it merely exhibits it, it is called a chit. Those who are in Patanjali Yogi Chittavritti Niyod, because not only all the operations of buddhi, even the images have to be vanished. That's why he uses the term chitta. So mantra number 3 is talking about knowledge signals coming here one at a time. This is making its copy, is displaying it here, and then your sound signal, all signals coming. That is the third mantra, depicting knowledge from real time. Yat Pajanamut. So, Yat Pajyan. Jyan is knowledge. I am. Vidya is also knowledge. But Vidya is knowledge scattered in the universe. Jnana is knowledge I have acquired. There are two words in Sanskrit for knowledge. They have different meanings. So here I am interested in acquisition of knowledge. So the word is jnana. Pa is prakarshena. I am enlightened. Once the knowledge signal appears on your chitta, on your buddhi, you cannot say I did not notice it. Because it has been pajyan, you have been enlightened. Your eyes were open, you saw something, but you can say, I might have seen it, but I did not notice it. I don't remember it. Anybody will pardon you for that because maybe your eyes were open, but the signal were going from your ears rather than from eyes. And your mind was more engaged in listening than noticing. So you are listening but not only hearing but listening also. And in that way, you are unable to notice something though your eyes might have seen it. So the difference between seeing and noticing, difference between hearing and listening is that not only that data signal has been captured by your inputs sensory organs, it has been brought to your buddhi organ. Now you cannot deny it. You did not listen to it. You did not notice it. That is what is called Pajyan. Who does it? Yat, that nominative mind. Cheto. And now, having displayed up to that point, you have taken cognizance of it. You are the Chetna, Chetan. You are conscious being. Now you are consciously aware of that piece of knowledge. Is it not? That is what is Chet. Dhitish cha. Cha is conjunction. And what more has happened? You Dhiti is to dharan karna. In your ahankar device, that piece of knowledge has been copied. Now you cannot say, I don't know it, I don't have it, I don't remember it. At least next few moments you should be able to remember it. Recall it, retrieve it from your memory. Your memory has a fresh copy. Yat Jyoti, Yat is coming again, but has Jyoti. That is that enlightening power of your mind. Anta, which is now inward. We are going inward. Now this is so inward, it is closest to me. Is it not? This thing we are talking about is the closest to me. Nothing is closer than that. That's what we are talking about. Anta. Now look at this beautiful word. Ammetam. This piece of knowledge will never die. Your body will die one day. But this mind will go along with you again. And this piece of knowledge can survive the next death, which is inevitable for all of us. Amritam. Such a powerful statement that our mind is also immortal, undying. Consciousness, non physical. This is physical mind, but this is also Amritam. For the real time of knowledge, it has been used in this context of acquisition of knowledge, that any knowledge, that's why it is so natural. Even a person who is in a deathbed may be interested in learning something new, is it not? Nobody will ever say, now is no more time for me to know new thing. Even at the very last moment, if you have learned a new piece of knowledge, you may carry it forward to your next life. Ammetam. Pajasu, again, Saptami, plural. For whom? For those good, noble people. We have to become a good quality people, then we have all these powers of mind. And of course, the context is acquisition of knowledge, gaining knowledge. Still, the word karma has been described here. Let me say here, yasmat, no, this is panchami, which is what? Ablative. Na is negation. Rite, rite is underlying principle. Rite and satya. Truth governed by the underlying principle, which is more powerful than satya. Because hit can be there, sat may not be there for a while. Like a seed is the hit, huge tree. A plant may come later. A small seed has the whole tree within itself. For some reason, that particular seed may become important, but that hit was there. Sat may not come out, but hit was there. That is so powerful. So that is what I am being told. Yasmat na yate kinchana, no karm can be done without this instrument of mind. Now, why should I be reminded about karma when the context is about the knowledge? Let's go back to this slide. The context is these blue boxes. They are bringing knowledge and displaying it, but then they are saying that even this outer mind is involved here, which was taking care of the karma. But if they are not alert, if this manas is not picking up signal faithfully, this whole thing will not work. The inner mind has all the capability to acquire knowledge, but it needs the cooperation of this outer mind, which was described as the delegated agent for karma, but that also is required. So, what is it? Even seeing has to be viewed as a karma. If you are so attentive, then only it becomes noticing. Otherwise, your eyes are open, you are not seeing. So, the ability to see so as to make it notice, this the transformation of seeing to noticing is an action, is a conscious action, and you have to be consciously paying that attention. That is what is described in that mantra. Yasman nayate kinchan. You will say, my eyes are open, I will be seeing it. And as a human being, seeing is not just seeing anupashyati, deeper seeing. You can see deeply only if you are paying attention to your mind, through your mind, is it not? A scientist, a philosopher, they come up with the invisible ideas from the visible world because they have penetrating intellect that goes deeper inside. Chair is not moving, but a scientist will say all the molecules are moving that forms this chair, is it not? Because they have gone deep inside every cause, every gross object. So that is seeing something in a very deep, penetrating manner is also a karma, and that cannot happen if the entire, not only the inner mind, inner outer mind as a whole must be participating, and that's what is the reason that the word karma has been brought here, though the context is acquisition of knowledge. This was real time acquisition of knowledge, mind gaining knowledge from the world in wakeful state. Now thinking beyond. We are seeing the world, but we want to go extrapolate in space and time. You see the clouds, our weatherman, he is able to forecast weather for tomorrow because he knows there are certain clouds at certain distance away. There is certain kind of pressure differential which will cause movement of air, and those clouds will move from this to that direction, and they are quite saturated with water vapor, black clouds, and tomorrow they will be occupying that space, and there they will throw the sweet filtered water. He is able to predict where and when the rain will come in the next few hours, a couple of days, because of predictive capability. So you have to think beyond what is happening in this moment at this space point. So space and time are two parameters. We have acquired knowledge at a particular space at a particular time. But as a human mind, I can think beyond all that. Go far away in future, go far away in past like a geologist. Will walk along the beach, will find a particular stone, and then he will say, this stone must have been formed like this kind of a feature. Or he will see a hill with certain kind of layers, and then he can make conjectures about even millions of years. past, they can go past like this. So even future, things like that. And as I have said about weathermen forecasting, if cloud is somewhere, he will say next 24 hours later, where will that cloud be causing precipitation of rain? So space and time, beautifully written. Let's look at it. Now it is yen, instrumental, titya. Yen tanme yat. Yene idam. Idam is this way, and you will see the beauty. Space and time. Let's look at time, which is very easy to see it. Bhutam bhavishyat. Past time, which is gone. Bhavishyat, what will come next. Idam is this. So now this may refer to time, this moment, and from this moment, what I am seeing, I can predict what might have happened in the past, what is likely to happen in future. And now look at the beauty again, allegorical. Idam is for space also. This point in, earlier I used the word idam as this point in time, this moment. And then I stressed it in the past, bhutam, as well as bhavishya. Now I say idam, this point in space, and bhuvanam, the entire space, isn't it? So the idam takes care of the point in space as well as time and is being stressed in the space by this word and by in time domain by these two words. Because time is what we call as time like. It goes in only one direction, one straight line that in our fluid dynamics we call it laminar boundary layer time like. So there are certain parameters we just say time like. Time goes in one linear, but space goes is 360-degree. It has all the points. So idam bhuvanam or idam bhuta bhavishya. Pai gahi. Gahi is to acquire. Pai is from payidi, all directions. So look at the capability of mind. It can acquire from all directions. Pai gahi tam. Amyaten. Again, yen is going with amyaten. Again, we are reminded if I am a scientist, philosopher, anybody, from real time knowledge, I conclude a theory, I come up with an idea that will also be inherited, impressed through an impression in my mind, and will go along with me in next life. How some children are born with all kinds of talents. They have not only real time knowledge in their previous life, all the theory, all the opinions and views, all the skills they had acquired, all that impressions are also in their ahankar, which they will get back in the next lifetime. So, not only real time knowledge will survive with me, even what I have, this thinking capability, if I have used it, and that is the marvel of the human mind. Amyaten, and there is no limit. Look at the beauty of this language. There is no limit in space and time. Sarvam. You can acquire everything in the universe. A human being is limited. I am in a particular space and time, but my mind has no limitation of space and time. Sarvam. And can you imagine there is a third dimension of world? I haven't seen any book who has gone so deeply into it. I like it. Sarvam, beautiful world. I give you 5 seconds. Think what it could be. As a human being, I am thinking beyond with all my mind's powers in space and time to get to know all the invisible forces behind the visible world. And what could mean this sarvam? This means that infinite consciousness. It's a beautiful word, is it not? So we, the human beings, can explore everything in space and time, and even beyond it, that supreme consciousness who is causing all these events in the world. Etam satyancha vidya tapaso adhyajayat. The satya, the real world, and all the underlying principle. Such a beautiful meaning given in this Yenedam Sarvam. Yen yajistayate, the same instrumental. And what am I being told? After all, I am in a karma yoni. Yajna, do grand karma. In his image, he is doing all his karma. And now there has been added something. Tayate, tanabana. Stretch it out as much as possible. Tayate, elongate it in all directions. Somebody has done, somebody has founded ISMAS Houston. But that is not the end of it. The new people should stretch out all its functions. Sapta hota. Yaj is not just our Agnihotra. Any yaj where we are putting all kinds of resources and outcome is a grand, wonderful project. Abhikalp, is it not? So Sapta hota. All the seven are putting their hota is ahuti. Who are the seven? So yaj is happening here at my buddhi. This is where I can think and think, come up with new, and this plus this and five senses. These seven are putting their continuously, constantly their ahuti. So that yajna is happening here. So that yajna, my spirit should be anything that is happening in the world, even Paramatma, that infinite consciousness, he gives us clean air, we are polluting it. How can we purify the air? That is my yajna. In what direction? Paramatma's sunlight purifies the air, but I make a small fire to purify the air in a small room. So that will become yajastayate. I am stretching what I am learning from Paramatma. He purifies the water and his clouds bring the clean filtered water. But now there is some problem, or in certain area the rains have not come. So we try to transport water bottles or other design. Or it is in the side, there is a place close to the ocean beach, but they don't have clean filtered water. Then we install a desalination plant. So yajastayate, Paramatma is doing in the form of rain-making clouds. I do the same thing where I can add on to it, adding it on, that is yajastayate. Through my powerful intellectual faculty, saptahota. This is what a human mind can do continuously. May it be bear positive results. So today we have gone through mantra number 3 and 4. 3 was looking at my desktop where I get real-time knowledge. Very good. Even animals do it. They do it much better. Their eyes are better. Their ears are better than ours. They also think, but they think the way they have been programmed. They think how to take care of their children, their own survival, and this and this. But a grand yajikam for benefit of others and coming up with the grand ideas, thinking beyond idam yenidam bhutam bhuvanam bhavishyat vaigrahi tamam meten sarvam. Nothing is out of our scope. Everything is in our purview. If you think with an open-minded, just like my consciousness has the extraordinary ability to know, experience, and act. But we are not doing many things. The air flows, water flows, air blows, and sun shines, and all this is happening. There must be another consciousness who is doing those actions. Next, mantra number
Yeah,
mantra number 5 and 6.
I think it's back. Can you, the internet just disconnected. If you can check, we are still online.
Okay, we are towards the end. Observation that there was this delink of disconnection of internet. So maybe from the recording point of view, the session is over. But suppose it is still on toward the end. These were concluding remarks. That next week we will look at mantras number 5 and 6, which I said is very much part of Vedic psychology, and that will describe what happens closest to me. But even here, this instrument of mind is useful and participates in a particular manner. That beautiful meanings we will see next week. Thank you very much for joining me, and we will meet again next week, the same time, and discuss the mantras number 5 and 6 from 34th chapter of YajurVeda, talking something very unusual that is not quite prevalent in modern mainstream psychology. But let's look at those beautiful ideas. Thank you very much. See you next week.